Hey, what's going on, y'all? Thanks for joining in with us again. And you know it's another episode of The Real Behind the Ring.
So, in today's episode, we're actually going to be talking about family first. And I know that is a term that is thrown around loosely. We hear people saying it all the time. We hear it in rap songs. We hear it all over the place. But we're going to actually break it down for you and actually talk to you guys a little bit more about what family is, what that looks like, and some of the things that come along with it. So, as always, we're going to go ahead and jump into our foundational text for today.
Yep, and we're coming from Matthew 19, verses 4 through 6. Basically, Jesus just reiterates the Pharisees while they're questioning him about some things on Genesis 2:24, or to how God created a man and a woman and their purpose in marriage, and how they're joined together as one flesh and they're supposed to be inseparable. And so when we talk about family first, we're discussing it from the matter of a husband and a wife, their household that they build in Christ Jesus, and their children, their immediate family. So can you expound on that a little bit, baby, as far as the family and what we mean by family first?
Right. So, as he said already, family first is your immediate family, the family that's within your household, the ones that you live with and do life with every day. So, that's going to be the husband, the wife, and then whatever kids you all have within that union. And so I know initially your immediate family before you got married was your mother, your father, your sister, your brother, your siblings, because you all grew up in the same household. But after marriage, the immediate family that you used to have now becomes your extended family, and you create a new immediate family. And just to give a little bit of an example of this, I'm going to take an example from the Bible. We're going to talk about Jesus and his disciples. And I know that they weren't married, but they had a very close relationship. And I think it helps to demonstrate this pretty well. So we know that Jesus had 12 disciples, and he walked with them every single day. He loved them. He did life with them. He taught them. That was essentially his family. But we know out of those 12 disciples, there were 3 disciples that were his inner circle. That was Peter, James, and John.
Yep.
And those 3 got to experience things with Jesus that the other 9 disciples didn't get to experience, such as the Mount of Transfiguration or going to the Garden of Gethsemane. So this is kind of how I want you guys to look at it. It doesn't mean that you love your family, your mother, your father, sister, brother any less. It just means that there is now a family that is closer to you than the ones who used to be your immediate family. So that's what family first means. That's what it means to us. And with that comes the next topic, which is leaving and cleaving. So I'm going to let you talk about that because I think you had a harder time with that than I did.
Yeah, it's pretty rough. You know, with girls, I think it's a situation, or young women, it's like, you're going to be with your husband and things of that nature. But as a man, it's like, okay, leave, but don't necessarily cleave. You know, leave, people say it, leave and cleave, but a lot of times what happens is you leave and you bring. And so when you look at leaving and cleaving, or the word cleave, it means the back, D-A-B-A-Q. In the Strong's Concordance, when you look it up, and essentially what it means is to adhere to. So just think of like Gorilla Glue or something being super strong. That's how we're supposed to cleave to our wives. Jesus said the bond is inseparable, right? We're not supposed to let anybody separate us. And so when you also look at another definition, just in the English language, a B clause to it is that it means to split or to sever. So the word cleave, I don't think is a coincidence. It means to adhere to, and then it means to split and to sever. So at the same time as you're cleaving to your wife, no one typically tells us as young men that you're going to be severed from your immediate family in order to make an inseparable immediate family with your wife. And so that's something that's pretty big, that's not really talked about. Is we talk about the leaving, we talk about the cleaving to our wife, but we never talk about the splitting away from our family. And that's not saying we don't love our now extended family, our mother, father, sister, or we're not obligated in some ways when, if they get sick or things of that nature. It's just saying that, hey, we now have a bond that's closer than in year 1 of marriage, or whatever, 30 seconds of marriage.
I was going to say day 1 of marriage.
Yeah, exactly. Then the bond that may have been created between a son and a mother, a son and a sibling, or a son and a father over the past several 20, 30 years. You know what I mean? So baby, let's talk about the next topic that really is on your heart.
Okay, so I'm going to talk about how that looks for us as parents. And I think that this is something that if we get it early, then it makes the transition easier later on in life. And we just have learned this honestly from our own personal experiences, and things that we've gone through has really taught us the importance of honing in on this and getting this right with our kids. And so for me, as a mom of two boys currently, I know it's going to be difficult when they get married and they're going to have wives and they're going to leave and they're going to start their own families. But I think it's important for us to remember that from the time that they're young right now. So we need to be raising them up and instilling in them the tools that they need to grow up to be godly men, in my case, or godly women for those of you who have daughters, and instill in them what they need to go and create their own families, but also still being able to maintain a level of closeness with their mother, their father, and their siblings, because we are still, close to them. We love them, but it's just very, very important from a young standpoint to instill that in them, and for that gives me the next 18 plus years to wrap my head around the fact that, hey, one day they're going to leave and they're going to start their own family. So that way when the tearing happens, which is inevitable, it doesn't tear me down like it can if I wasn't prepared for it, or if I just expected them to go and start their own families but to still have the exact same bond with me that they had as I raised them up from a child. So
Yeah, and I think that's beautiful. Before we head out, because what you're talking about is prudence and wisdom. Because you have an understanding of something, and you say, you know what, let me prepare myself for it. I love my babies, but at the same time, let me prepare for them to do what God has called them to do. And yeah, man, so we're going to end it there.
Yeah.
We'll see y'all again on the next episode, but we love you guys, and it's another episode of The Real Behind the Ring. As you already know, we'll see y'all soon. Peace.